Log into your AWS Educate account. Select RDS. Create a database. And we are going to create a MySQL database and dev and test environment. And all other remaining parameters, I'm going to take it as a default parameters except the master password. I'm going to give it as a test123 and confirm password also test123, and the default username is admin. So I'm going to unselect all the parameters which is not required, and public access must be yes, because the database which we are going to configure supposed to be accessed from the outside the AWS environment. So the database name which I gave you is IoT DB. Finally, click on create database to create the database. Create the database. After creating it, check the status of the database. It is available. Click on the database and enter into the database, and you must get the endpoint and the port number to proceed. Then check the VPC security group, and it's very important, all inbound and outbound rules must be set to all traffic. So the database must receive and send data to outside AWS environment. Once it is set, go to your system and open MySQL Workbench client. So create a new connection. And replace the host name by the AWS host name. Username is admin, and click test connection and give the password as test123456 and click OK to check whether the client is able to connect with the remote database or not. Yes, it is successfully connected with the remote MySQL database. Click OK. Now double click the connection which you have created to connect to the database. This will take a couple of seconds, and there is already a database is created, IoT DB, and I'm going to use the same IoT DB and execute the query and check the status. The query is successfully executed. Now create the table. So I'm going to create a table IoT. It consists of 3 columns. The first column will be a timestamp column, which I am going to feed manually from the Lambda program. So type will be an varchar, and the second will be a temperature, and type will be integer, and third will be a humidity, and type will be an integer. Execute the query and check the status. Successfully executed. Go to your AWS console and select the Lambda console, and now we're going to write a Lambda function. The Lambda function, which will be triggered by the IoT core environment. Create a function. So this will create a default environment with index.js as the basic file. So actually I don't want this particular file, so I have created the all necessary file in my local system. So this program can communicate with MySQL server. So I'm going to replace the host name by the host name which we received from the AWS IoT console, RDS console, and the username and password remains same. The database is IoTDB. The local program and all necessary modules I have installed in the local system, and I'm going to create a package. So going to zip it. I'm going to name it as my test zip and put it on the desktop for my programming convenience. So from the AWS Lambda console, I'm going to import the zip file. Click on upload from and select the zip file option. Click on upload, navigate to the zip file which you have created and click open. Save. Now whatever the zip file we have created in the local system will be uploaded in the AWS environment. The complete program is now available in the Lambda environment. So this is a program which we created in the local system. This program can now communicate with the MySQL database, also ready to get the events from IoT core. So before that we'll have to test the module. I'm going to create a test event where I'm going to create two different inputs, that is temperature and humidity. I'm going to remove the default values. And temperature, so I'm going to pass a sample temperature. This is to just check whether my program is properly working or not, this Lambda program is properly working or not. And humidity, I'm going to give some random value. So this is how my each and every JSON file from the AWS IoT core will look like. And create the test event and select the test event which you have created and test it. So this resulted no errors, so it is perfectly fine. Now this program is ready to get events from AWS IoT core and ready to push the content into MySQL server, MySQL database. Now go to AWS IoT core environment. And click on act. Now we are supposed to connect the AWS IoT environment with the Lambda. So before that I'll have to create a test event and check whether my program is properly able to communicate with the IoT environment. So I'm going to run a sample program. The sample program is able to push 50 different messages under topic 2. So subscribe topic 2. Now here I can get information from the sensor. Now click on act, select rules, create a new rule, my AWS test rule. Now here I am going to write an SQL query to filter out the data. So here I am not going to filter anything, so I am going to accept everything which received from topic underscore 2. Now this data is supposed to be connected with the Lambda, so click on send message to Lambda function and configure action. It will result in selecting of the Lambda function, so I'm going to select the Lambda function which I created and add action, and I'm going to create this rule, create rule. Now the rule is successfully created. Now my program is able to push the messages to AWS IoT core, and AWS IoT core in turn send the data to Lambda function, and the Lambda function push the content back to AWS MySQL RDS. I'm going to execute my sample program to generate to simulate the sensor data. Now if you look at here, you can see you are getting the temperature value and humidity value from the sensors. These are the values are randomly generated from my program. Now this information will be reached to this database through Lambda program. We can write a query, select star from IoT table, and we can check whether the data is received in the stored in the database or not. So it is successfully stored. All the data which generated by the sensor are now stored in the database securely. If you want, you can do whatever the operations inside the table, like I'm going to filter out only temperature which is greater than 40, execute the query. So whatever the operations you want to perform, all the operations you can perform on the data which you received in the database.